All right, you have been struggling with conjugations in Spanish. You don't have to tell me. I already know it because I struggled with them too. So I put together a conjugation cheat sheet to make it very easy to memorize the conjugations. This is basically what I've had in my mind ever since I started learning Spanish. So what is this chart going to show you how to do? It's going to show you how to memorize the conjugations more easily. This is the chart. So I have all the subjects here. Subjects are I, you, he, she. Technically, I don't have all the subjects because there's a few other subjects, but these are the most, like when I was learning Spanish, I just focused on these. Anyways, I don't want to confuse you, so just start with this. And so in Spanish, you have three verbs, AR, ER, IR. That just means like they end with a combination of letters of AR, ER, or IR, and they each have their own conjugations. Now, the way I memorized it is that the ER and the IR verbs have the same conjugations. So now you only have two conjugations to memorize, AR and then the ER and IR. So that's one way to make it easy. But yeah, I think we'll just go through the chart in order from top to bottom. And this is only for the present tense, but I'll show you how this present tense chart really applies to basically the whole language. All you need is to memorize this chart. And by the way, if you don't know what a conjugation is, I kind of wrote some out here. So I run, you run, he runs, we run, they run. It's just the way you write the verb. In English, all of them are the same, run, run, except for he. It's runs. That's why it's hard for us in Spanish to memorize these conjugations because there's so many. So I'll start with the top, yo. So yo hablo como vivo. The pattern is yo has o. Yo, o. Hablo como vivo. That one's pretty easy. Yo, o. Tú takes an S. So hablas, comes, vives. And notice the ER and the IR conjugation is the same. As you can see here, usted and el, ella, which is you, formal, and he, she, they're colored the same because they have the same conjugation. So he, she doesn't take an S. So you take that vives and make it a vive without the S. Comes, come. Hablas, habla. And one thing that used to confuse me was the usted. Like, what is this you formal? What does that mean? What's the difference between tú and you? And it's basically that if you were to say sir or ma'am, in those types of situations, you'd use usted. So somebody that you want to show respect to, okay? You can Google it if you want to go into more examples, but it used to confuse me because when you're saying usted, you're talking one-on-one to a person, like you. And so I had to like memorize that, oh, I'm basically using the he, she conjugations when I talk to this person, right? So it's not tú hablas, it's usted habla, which for me used to confuse me because I'm talking to you, so shouldn't I say hablas? So anyways, I don't want to go too in depth on that, but maybe you feel me on that confusion with usted. And like, if you're a beginner Spanish learner, no one's going to get offended if you don't show them respect by using usted, because they're going to know like you're a foreigner learning Spanish, so it's okay. Next one is nosotros, so there's an exception here that I'll point out. So hablamos, comemos, vivimos. So now there is an I in the conjugation. Don't worry, that's the only exception. When it's nosotros, there's an I. And by the way, if you're just starting or even if you're intermediate in Spanish and you say comimos or you say vivemos, with the surrounding context of what you're saying, you're gonna be understood. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. Nosotros, the way you remember the conjugation though, is that it ends with mos. Nos, mos. So you take the root. That's probably another thing I should have mentioned. This habla, H-A-B-L, that stays there the whole time. Habla, 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 habla. It's just the ending that changes, which was already obvious. So not worth going into a tangent for. So anyways, that covers what was said here. So the nosotros is an exception. Then these two are the same color as well because they're both plural. These are the plural subjects, meaning you're referring to more than one person. All of these subjects here were singular. Okay, nosotros is also plural. But yo is singular, tú is singular, usted, and he, she is singular. If you're referring to multiple people, they. Or if you're talking to a group of people directly, you guys, y'all, ustedes. So ellos is they, ustedes is you guys, and these are the conjugations. Just remember, if it's plural, it ends with an N. Okay? Now you could say, oh, nosotros is also plural, but just remember, nos goes with mos. Apart from that, if it's plural, it ends with N. Hablan, comen, viven. So, Why is this so important to memorize? And all you have to do is memorize this. Don't worry about memorizing every single tense and every single verb and everything. This is going to apply to most verbs. Okay, so let me show you why this chart is so valuable. So, for example, you know that tu ends with, what does it take? It takes an S. So if you want to say, you speak, tu hablas, right? It comes with that S. What if you say you used to speak when you were young? You used to speak a lot. So let's just go with you spoke. It's tu. You don't have to know the conjugation necessarily, but this is what it is. It's hablabas. But what I want you to note is that it's that S ending again. So tu takes an S, even in the past tense. What about the future tense? You will speak. Tu hablarás. Hablarás. Again, S. Okay, now let's compare this with the he, she, which, remember, we memorized it as having no S. We just dropped the S. So it's the two conjugations, but without the S. So he speaks is él habla. He spoke is él hablaba. You just drop the S. And he will speak is él hablará. That accent, by the way, if you didn't know, puts the emphasis on that letter. That's what Spanish accents are for. It's for emphasis. So, él hablará. So you can see that pattern. I'm trying to think of other examples. Like, okay, the plurals. Let's say they speak. Remember, it ends with an N. So, ellos hablan. They spoke. Does it end with an N? What do you think? Ellos hablaban. You would be correct if you said yes. And what do you think about the future tense? They will speak. Hablarán. The pattern stays the same. The S, the dropping the S, the N, the mos, it's the same thing. So that's why this chart is so powerful, because you'll notice it appear in other tenses. So just memorize this chart if you're a Spanish beginner. Even if you're an intermediate, I know a lot of intermediates who have been exposed to Spanish for years and they still get the conjugations wrong, and it's because they don't have this installed in their mind. So try to use this, try and be conscious of this as you go through your Spanish. And also, if you want more Spanish, I have a community that's completely free, at least for now, because I'm just starting it. So if you want to take your Spanish seriously and pop off YouTube and actually enter a community of other Spanish learners, and I'm going to be hosting calls in there as well to answer any questions. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, the link is in the description below. So I hope to see you there. And yeah, that was all for this video. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Or actually, I'll see you in the community. Anyways, I'll see you.